Thank you for joining me once again on the Sutherland Report. I'm very honoured to have your time and privileged to do so. And I'm extremely honoured to bring on my next guest. We are all mindful. We are all mindful of what is going on in Iran. We are also mindful of the difficulty of getting the information that we need so we know what is going on in Iran, which is an appalling atrocities. And there is not every day that you're able to speak to someone who has those links because they are Iranian. And I'm now going to bring on Saghar so we can have this discussion and hear her update. Saghar, first of all, just thank you so much for giving me your time and the privilege of being able to sit down and talk to you at this time. So thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having me. No problem. Thank you to having me, and thank you to everybody who care about Iran these days. Is so precious for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Saghar, I want to hear the update. There are so many things that we are hearing, and sadly we are not fully hearing. So it's to say, what can we verify, what we cannot. We're very aware of the fact that access to the country via the internet and other means is extremely difficult at this time. So Saghar, take it in any direction. Can you give us your view and update of what has been going on over the last week?
Yeah, actually, I think yesterday I could talk with my brother just for a few minutes, and after that, again, their phone cut it. And my brother said we are 10 people at the home, but nobody has internet. Just accidentally for me is working right now. I don't know why. Maybe they wanted to control very controller, as you know, they are so controller. Maybe they accept with someone at home because they know, for example, my family has some relative out of Iran. Maybe they wanted to control them because they are so scared from people, special from us, because we are in the out of Iran and we can talk about that. We have voice and they scare about that. But just few minutes, my brother talked with me, not more. And as I know, a lot of Iranians say they could talk yesterday, today, just for a few minutes with their family. But my friends say from inside of Iran, they say actually, just part of the uh, trueness. That was more bigger than what you know. That was very huge, very terrible, and that was a criminal. Yeah, they said you cannot imagine what happened here in 2 days. In 2 days, the government in Iran say they killed more than 12,000. Some people say more than 50,000. I don't know which one is true, but I can believe both because the Iranian regime is terrible. Yeah, they are killer. They are very very devil, I can say.
So you go, because absolutely, because since the internet shut down, we have then it was then, as you said, 12,000, then it's gone up 16,000, then 23,000, and very much 43, and very much heading to the figure of 50,000. In in your eyes, and we're hearing what the regime are saying, in your eyes, how we had the we've had you've had uprisings before where bluntly you've been let down, particularly under Obama at that time, and we get to where what is happening now. Then there was the uprising in 2022, I believe, when a young lady was killed
That's what
because
I
she,
mean. Yeah.
that's it, Masha Amini, thank you. So we've had that. Now, what, in your opinion, what started all of this uprising that's happened? Because the regime is saying it's economic, which I can understand the economic pressures that people in Iran are having at the moment. But what, in your opinion, what really started this?
please don't believe anything our regime say, because they are liar and the father of liars.
Mm.
And I can say many times, when I remember, I'm 40 right now. I remember when I was just 16, people reason on the street and raise up in the uprising the street. And after that, few more time, we have had protested on the street. That's not just one time or two time. Always people wasn't happy with the regime, but step by step, people don't believe Islam more. Because I remember when I was little, when I was just 5 or 6, a lot of Iranian was Muslim. But now, after 47 years, Islamic Republic regime, a lot of Iranian, if you ask them, are you Muslim? They say, no, we hate Islam, because they broken everything on the people. They broken our beautiful country, our beautiful culture. And I can say everything is not happened from Masa Amini. That was many years ago started. And step by step, people lose belief on the Islam, and people lose belief the regime, and people be more brave. I remember when I was, for example, teenage, if we protested, our parents didn't support us. They scared from the mullahs, because they knew mullahs is killer, is devil, is terrible. But now the younger parents support their kids, and they have a voice right now. And I believe the new generation is more brave, more than us. And I'm proud of them. Really, they are brave. And they don't care about their life, because step by step, when economy broken in Iran, people say we don't have anything to lose. I have to protest, even they kill me. I have to tell to the world we are not happy with this regime. This regime is not Iranian people. Do you know? For our Iranian out of Iran, when some non-Iranian friends ask us where are you from, always we care about. Explain very well. We are Iranian. We are completely different to our regime. Our regime is not picture of us.
So, I mean, be very interesting. If we go back to 1979, there is so much to say about that, from the Carter regime, and how then Khomeini at that time was in an apartment in Paris, and then going through what happened with the Shah, and in many, this is my humble opinion of how the West then turned its back. And you've made a fascinating comment in regard to where the young people now, because this is all relevant, because in 1979 we saw, and the building up to that, we saw what's called the red green axis, didn't we? And we have just seen, we've seen that on the streets in the UK and other cities around the world, in regard to the awful atrocities that then happened on the 7th of October 2023 in regard to Israel. Saghar, why, in your opinion, and if you don't want to answer, I get it. In your opinion, why is the UK then not recognizing the IRGC, a terrorist organization? We've just seen last Sunday, there was a protest outside the Iranian consulate embassy.
I've been
And
there. Yeah, I've been there.
right, what, you were there? What happened on the ground on that day through your eyes?
Some protests, some people who protested had argued with, I think, with police and with some Iranians staffs in embassy. And they had in the beginning they had argued, and after that he injured, he and someone more injured about that. And I think I can say, always in protest we say, UK government, please support us. We think, we believe, Iranian believe, UK government uh, don't protest, don't support our protests very well. They don't believe us. And do you know, I can say the mullahs has two face, and they show one nice face on the world, and they can say some lie to the world. But we know what's happening in Iran. We know what's their real regime. We know something like that. sometimes Iranian is angry about that and ask some countries, Europe countries, UK countries, America, please help us, please care about that. This is really, this is serious. But sometimes maybe they can show another face to today, right? Today I watched some video, someone from Iran say in Iran everything is safe, people is in normal life. Isn't it true? Because if even people want to go to the supermarkets, they research them and they check their phone. Everything is military right now in Tehran. But they say very well, very well, they say lie to the people. And I don't know why UK and some country, maybe the Islamic Republic has benefit for them. As you know, the uh, policy is rubbish. I don't believe the policy care about human rights. They care about their benefit. Maybe they have some benefit. Don't care about protest. Don't care about thousand people died now. They were not military. They didn't have any gun in the street. They were just protested, and they say we wanna the Shah's son back to Iran. We wanna to better life. We wanna freedom. We wanna very basic things, but they kill them very easy, and nobody care about that. It is it's terrible. It's not fair.
We've seen the pictures on Twitter and elsewhere where there are the regime, people on the backs of trucks with machine guns and with other shotguns firing into the protesters. That is extremely real. And then other pictures of snipers on rooftops in daylight, as well as at nighttime, but also thousands of Iranians on the street bravely. It's incredible where they are not. Let's just underline this, as you've just said, they are not armed. They are not armed whatsoever, right? But they have just been continuing to protest. What you have said in regard to what happened last Sunday, then look at your comments on who was lobbying in Washington and saying to the Trump administration, "Oh, we are reformers." I just wonder what we can reform. I just wonder what your comments on that. Organizations like MEC, I believe, they would like to reform instead of, as you've said, people want the whole thing to go. Your
It's
thoughts
impossible.
on all of
It's impossible to reform that regime. That regime, the base is rubbish. The base is a dictator. When a regime is dictator, you can't change anything. They can just have a fake face on the world and say we have republic, we have freedom, we have blah 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 blah. But everything is lie, because I was living in Iran, I was growing in Iran. I live Iran 10 years ago. I was just 30. I was a Christian in Iran. They arrested me just because I changed my religion from Islam to the Christianity. And they say you are spy from Mossad and from CIA. That's terrible. They are terrible. Never people believe they can change and they can reform. Yeah, I know some organization has a good fund for tell the board these things. We can have for example, reform cheaper than war, cheaper than something. But if that was possible, believe me, Iranian liked that was true, but it's not. Iranian now, they go to streets as they know, maybe they kill them, not maybe they kill them, but people don't care about their life. As you know, I'm psychologist. Life is the most important things for a people, but people don't care about that. Why? Because people don't believe the reform. Many times people in the many ways they try to reform, but never happen.
Well, there was recently, wasn't there? There was a protest in Los Angeles, and a U-Haul truck was then driven through the crowd protesting, Iranians protesting about what against the regime, and then that U-Haul truck had signs supporting MEC and this or an organization like that, or that organization is just appalling.
But
So
if you watch the video from inside of Iran and from our protests in embassy in London, in
yeah,
Toronto, in America, the most of people call King Reza Pahlavi. Reza
yeah,
Pahlavi is Shah's
yeah,
son. The
yeah,
most of people call him because we believe him and
mm,
we know about his family, his history, and we believe him more than some uh, some people who say uh, we are wanted to change the regime, we are wanted to reform, but we cannot believe them because, as you know, the Islamic Republic has good money from the oil. They pay a lot of funds to have someone to lobby for them.
mm.
Yeah,
Let's just remind the link between Iran and Venezuela and giving advice to Venezuela of how to get around the sanctions as well. There is all of
yeah.
this, and then narco terrorism as well. So there are all of these links. Could you talk about the Shah's son? Of course, he spent most of his life in California,
Yeah.
and the process, what he explain his role when he says, I want to come back to Iran, and the fact that it isn't about creating another monarchy. He wants that discussion to take you into a democratic, down the
Yeah.
democratic line.
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you explain all that, and
Yeah.
why it is so important?
Yeah, actually, people like he back to monarchy, but he say I prefer we have a democracy. If people wanna to have a monarchy is okay. If not, they wanna second republic is okay for me. Just I care about people. Just I care about my beautiful country because, as you know, his parents many years ago very hard tried to make Iran more modern before the
Mm,
79.
mm,
And as you know, and a lot of Europe friends say that time Iran was the most modern country in the Middle East country, and they did very good something for Iran. But as you know, the mullahs stopped them, and I don't believe, not just me, a lot of Iranian don't believe that 1790 was a real people revolution. That was a revolution that was like the coup d'etat, but a lot of people uh, manipulated about that from the Islam because Islam was a good tool to involve people in that revolution. I can say a lot of them after a few years said that was wrong, that was our mistake, apologize us. A lot of our parents tell us as a young, as a new generation, they told us that was a big mistake. We didn't need any revolution 79. And Shah was very good, but we couldn't understand him because he was very his vision was very open, and he was educated. Many of Iranian that time didn't have his vision and they didn't understand him. After 50 years, people say we can understand now what was the Shah's plan for Iran, and we are so sorry about that. Every single day, Iranians send message, send email for uh, the Shah's son, for the Shah's wife, and say apologize us. That was mistake. Could you believe that? After 50 years, right now, just people can understand what happened at that time. That was a big mistake, and people say apologize us and back Iran and help us to make Iran again.
I get it, because when you go through, excuse me, you go through the history of that time, the build up to the history. That's why I mentioned Carter earlier, and looking at who was around advising the president at that time. I advise anyone to go and have a look. You'll end up coming across a group called the
Yeah. As you know,
Trilateral
Carter
Commission.
helped them. As you know, Carter helped the mullahs
Yeah,
regime, and we
yeah.
believe a lot of country had
Mm,
who had benefit about that, helped them for
mm.
make a fake revolution, and they manipulate people from the slum, but that wasn't true.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And that's why I say to people, go and have a look at the Trilateral Commission. And then before you call me a conspiracy theorist, go and do your research, because this is the spiritual battle that is then going, in my, my own belief, that is going on at the same time. This is what's happening. But Saghar, what was going through people's minds when Israel then did their 12-day war against Iran last June, and then the big bombers came in from America to then take out the nuclear infrastructure? What was going through the Iranian people's mind at that time?
Iranian people were so happy about that. Do you know
Mm.
why? Because they believe American, they believe Israel more than regime. Do you know?
Yeah.
They said if regime start a war, uh, we cannot believe them for safety. But when America had some war with Iran, people said, we believe America, we believe Israel. They just kill someone who is important for regime, not kill the people. As you know, they call a kindergarten and told them, please leave from here. We wanted to put a bomb here for example, next hour, and they leave from the kindergarten. But look at our regime kill a lot of kids right now. They
Yeah.
don't care
Yeah.
about the people's
Mm.
life. Yeah, that time was very strange time. I remember I was in Greece for help the refugee people as a mental health, and that's time when the America attack to Iran. I remember that day in the church, some American friends was there and told me, sorry, we are so sad about that. Sorry, our country attacked your country. I said, don't say sorry. The Iranian is not sad about that. Iranian is happy because they have power. We cannot change the regime without the support. We need that support, and that's make Iranian so happy. That's crazy. Is not common. Some people go some embassy, for example, a lot of Iranian go to American embassy and ask them, please attack to our country. It is never happened in the world. It's not normal. But look at people. Why they ask some country, please? Do you remember in 1790 the Iranian attack to American embassy inside of Tehran, and now the Iranian asked the American embassy, please help us. Could
Mm.
you believe that? Just 47 years,
Yes.
everything changed.
Well, that's
It's
because people
crazy.
then,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
people are then understanding, sadly, with what your country's been through for 47 years, they're looking back at that history of 79 and looking at where we are now. I have to say, putting full cards on the table, I'm very sad that President Trump, actually stopped the Israeli planes in their last sortie to say no, turn back, because there was a major opportunity that was opening up, because it has exposed that right now, even though the atrocities that are beyond
You know,
words that they're
sometimes I wanted to add something. Excuse me.
doing. No, no.
Sometimes sometimes this happens. Some Iranians say we are not happy another country attack to our country. I can say another Iranian argue with them and tell them no, it's true because we don't have power, we don't have gun.
Mm,
If
mm,
some country help us to change regime, they should to do. We are
mm,
happy about that.
mm.
This is very confusing, but it's true.
No, I'm not confused about it. I hear you. So let's jump to it then. Your feelings on when President Trump says help is coming, and we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
Do you know when started the in the beginning when started the protest, a lot of people was in street. After that, President Trump said help is coming, and after that more people came because they more brave about that. But when didn't happen, some of people lose their hope and they said we should to don't care about another country. We should to just protest. But I believe that, and a lot of Iranians believe that without the help, without the gun, without the war, they don't go never. I hope so. I hope so, and all of Iranians hope so, because as you know, President Trump many times changed his mind and change what he say. But maybe I think today in the morning we had a protest on the street in London. Some people said President Trump retweet again that message.
Mm.
Help is coming. I hope so. We pray about that, because if if God wanted to use President Trump, it's okay. We pray for God's plan.
Well, there are a lot of assets, a lot of aircraft, aircraft carrier, etc., moving into that region. There are a lot of assets that are moving into the region right now, and I hear you, Sega. One of the real privileges of talking to you is that we there is then giving me, others, an understanding that this may sound a very stupid thing to say, but this is real. This is affecting people's lives. It's a bit like last November when we were in Israel and we stood at we were in the kibbutzim near Oz outside the Bibas family home. It's very humbling, very humbling, and that's to have this conversation with you is exactly the same. When you are talking about, I've been talking to my brother, talking to other members of my family. This is real, and all the pictures that we are seeing and the events unfolding. Are you? Why haven't we seen protests more of the sort of on the left going, well, hold on a minute, we've spent 2 years having a go in regard to Gaza, and why aren't they on the streets calling for an end of the Iranian regime and the genocide that is going on there? We've seen the body bags, and I'm not saying that there was the accusation that they accused Israel of doing genocide in Gaza. No. What are your thoughts on that? Where are these people protesting on your behalf as well? Which I believe they should be doing, but of course it shows them up for who they are. What are your thoughts?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Right.
Sorry. Could you more explain
Saga,
for me,
don't
please? Thank
worry.
you.
We've seen 2 years of From the River to the Sea in capital cities all over the world, and I'm going, these people must be seeing the all the pictures that are coming out of Iran when they can come out. And I'm just going, why aren't they on the streets protesting about that and what your people are having to put up with in regard to what the regime and the atrocities are actually doing against you and your people? Because it says a lot. Sego, I'm going to help you out. Don't worry. It says a lot. It just says about where people's priorities are.
Yeah.
And a
If
bit
I
like,
understand well your question, you ask me why people and what people calling in the street. Is it true, or you ask me another things?
no, I'm not, but don't worry. I'm asking you and saying, why aren't people protesting on behalf of the Iranian people and what they've been going through when they've spent 2 years on the streets singing From the River to the Sea and now asking globalize the Intifada? Why aren't they coming to your help? Why aren't they?
Because, as you know, I understand right now why the another country help us.
Mm,
Because, as you know, the Iranian government spends a lot of money for make war in the world. They don't like safe Middle East. They broken everything from in the Middle East. If you watch the world, any war, when you follow that back to Iran, back to Iranian regime. For example, I have some Syrian people, some Syrian friends, some Ukrainian friends, and from the Gaza Palestinian people. They knew just Iranian government, not just Republic regime, Islamic regime from Iran support them, spend a lot of money. They don't spend money for our people, for
mm,
our facility. Just they care about war, make more power, and has benefit for them. I don't know why, but I think the war and unsafety has benefit for them. And many country like to change regime, as many country doesn't like to change regime because has benefit for them as well. For example, Turkey, as you know, the Turkey support them and Russian support them because, and sometimes China support them because they have they have economic power for, and economic benefit for them. Yeah. Yeah.
This geopolitical web
Yeah.
that is being spun, and also, and I'm sure you do. We also have a lot of concerns about what is happening to the Kurdish people as well, and the Kurds right
Yeah.
now
Yeah. Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
There are huge questions, huge
Iraq,
questions.
yeah, Iraq and Kurdish people, they, I can say they nosy for any country. They have spy to any country. They send money. They support any war. They love to kill people. They love to war. They love to have more power, more money. Just they think about that, not more. They don't care about our country. Actually, I believe they don't love our country. This is not their country. They just care about their power.
Because the ideology says
Yeah.
we want to wake up, we want to wipe out Israel off the face of the earth,
Yeah.
for one thing, and do
Yeah.
whatever we can to get there.
Yeah,
Um,
as you know, their religion has most difficulty and most problem with Israel, with Jewish people. Never they were friend. But as you know, before the revolution, the real Iranian people, is very friend with Israel. We have a lot of good Jewish people, a lot of Jewish businessmen, businesswomen in Iran. Many years from the start, a lot of Jewish was living in Iran. Never we had problem with them. Never we had problem with another religion, from the Cyrus to now.
yeah.
But their religion say just us, just we are true, and another people is kafir, and we have to kill kafir.
It seems the irony is not lost on me with what the Iranian people they're pushing back against the regime in regard to certain problems that we're facing here in the UK in regard to that ideology and belief. So the irony is not lost on me whatsoever. Sega, there is an independent channel that you go on, I believe, to be able to speak to the Iranian people. And there was a clip recently that went viral where this young girl from Iran was talking about what she was going through with her family and being beaten, and it was very, very sobering to listen to. So, could you talk about any channels, independent media that are outside that are regularly trying to speak the truth into Iran?
Yeah, some channels I know, independent channels, for example, Manoto channel or some channel, but I don't believe they have in English, something in
Mm,
English. If your mean is English channel, I have to research. I can search and send for you after this
brilliant.
meeting. Yeah, yeah. But I have no idea for English channel right now. We have some channel, but that's in Farsi. If your mean is for non-Iranian people,
Yep.
I can research and send you. You can
Um,
put in the video. Yeah.
no, Sega, that would be absolutely brilliant because to put those links down.
Yeah.
Um, because as discussion has come out that there are the attacks on Christians out there in Iran. There is also sorry if it sounds a bit of a naive, stupid statement, but of course everyone is being attacked who is against the regime. But you've made a very, very interesting statement at the beginning of our discussion where lots of young people are then not going to mosque. They're not following the Islamic faith. They are turning away from that. That is happening by the droves because there is this report that they're shutting down mosques. They've been shutting down mosques in Iran. Just what are your comments on that?
Uh, Sorry, could you?
Do not worry. Do not worry. So are within Iran, have they been shutting down mosques because
Yeah.
people are not attending them anymore?
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
then go on. Sorry.
No problem. You continue, please.
Yeah. And then when you talked about the fact that they don't care about Iranian people and what's going on in the country, there has been this report of water shortages, etc., in Tehran and the infrastructure. Can you give us any more comments on that and what people are facing along those lines?
Please, everyone who hearing us and watch us, please, in the beginning, in the first of all, pray for Iran and Iranian, for God's plan is most important things. If you can, please send message to someone who direct affected for support Iran. Send message to your MP, to American embassy, or everywhere you think should be powerful, should be affected, and ask them to help people. Iranian doesn't have voice, as you know. Now they doesn't have internet. They doesn't have any voice. The people, the government, like the prison. Iran is like the prison. More than 90 million people in the jail, in the prison right now. And people always, when send message, ask us out of Iran, please uh, be our voice. As you see, my English is not very well, but I will try to be their voice and say they are in terrible. They need emergency helping. Please, everybody who watch me, just send message in X application everywhere for Donald Trump, for your MP, for anybody who's affected, and ask them any help for Iran. Please, please, never believe Iranian regime. Iranian regime is liar and father of liars, I can say.
Saghar, your English is superb, and you're doing an
Thank you.
incredible.
Sometimes, sorry, my mind is so busy these days, and my English is not very well, I can say. But sometimes because my mind is busy, I have no focus. Sorry about that. If
No,
I
no,
wasn't very well.
you're doing brilliantly, and that leads naturally into another question because you, social media wise, messages wise, there must be so many inputs that you are having every day. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
know.
have every day in Farsi. Farsi is very easier for me, and I can tell people better my feeling. I'm trying. Uh, this is maybe just second interview in English. I trying to tell people what happened in Iran, what happened in my country. If I have little voice, I have to use that.
Mm.
Thank you to hearing me. Thank you to having me.
Not at all. It's a real, seriously, it's a real privilege to sit down and have this conversation and to then help you get the word out because it is so needed to say the least. You've described it. I mean, you described it brilliantly, but it's horrific when you to say that it's it's a big camp where 90 million people are being held hostage, and as we have discussed offline, when the injured people of Iranian people are going into hospital, and then the regime coming along and shooting the patients and killing the medical staff as well. There's been reports of this. We've seen the pictures of the shooting, and they've still maybe still have plastic tubes inside them and all the other paraphernalia that you would have if you were then in seeking emergency help in a hospital. Saghar, what about the other
Did you
comment?
hear about one young man? He was in the plastic cover for 3 days. He didn't move because he's scared. He was just 16. He's scared maybe they kill him. For 3 days, he was injured. In plastic bag for some people who die, but he was alive. He didn't move for 3 days. Could you believe that? And when his family came here to recognize uh, they found, oh, he's alive for three
Wow,
days.
wow. Did they manage to get him out of there, Saghar? Do we know any news of that story?
Yeah. I know this news. Yeah, this a lot of channel put that in the news. This is
Wow,
for 2 days ago, I think so. Yeah, a young man was in the cover plastic for 3 days, didn't move because scared. He was so young and he injured, and he couldn't moving, and he's scared for moving. After 3 days, their family found, oh, he alive. He has breath.
wow. Oh, praise God for that.
He's in hospital right now.
Right. What about the? I mean, this is so difficult for some of for people to get their heads around. So the fact that the regime have not been given doesn't give the bodies back to some families. They will charge thousands of dollars for that. They'll even charge for the bullets. I mean, it's
It's true.
unbelievable.
It's true. Yeah, there is. It's true. It's true. That always they've been same as this. For example, my parents say 46 years ago when revolution happened in Iran, that's time we have had these things. But that's time we didn't have internet. We couldn't have voice to say to tell the world when they kill someone. Always, all of these years, when if they kill someone with gun, when they wanted to back the body, they ask family, you have to pay very expensive, very a lot of money, a lot of family. As you know, the economy is broken in Iran. They don't have, for example, 10,000 pounds to pay for body. They say if you don't pay, never you can find the body. We put all of the body in the same hole.
Well, there's been reports, hasn't there, of the regime digging mass graves to get rid of the bodies. I sadly I have just lost Saghar. One of the delights of doing this is the technical hitches and challenges we sometimes get, but that's a reality. But let's just carry on. Saghar, we were just saying, I was just about to say that there's been reports of the regime creating mass graves so that sadly they can then hide the atrocities that they are then committing. Have you heard reports of that yourself?
Yeah, yeah. Always they do that. This is very normal for them to have these things is normal for them to put a lot of people who they kill. For example, I think a few months ago we have had I don't know word in English. Somewhere is very. mm One second, I have to research about that word.
Don't worry, don't worry. Give me
Word.
some hints. I'll try and help you
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Somewhere we have some water. For example, when raining happen, we have a lot of water somewhere.
Yep,
But as you know, for a few years in Iran, we didn't have good rain, and that's dry, and people found a lot of body under there.
got you, got you.
Yeah, they don't care about body. When they kill someone, they put them anywhere. They don't
Right.
have respect for people.
So, and then families have been sadly not being able to find their loved ones, and then they might have been in a situation where sadly these bodies have been washed up for them to
Yeah.
find them a number of years later. I know it's really difficult to actually get your head around this kind of thing, but it reminds me of appalling atrocities elsewhere of the world in the past. Um, Sega, what do you think is going to happen over the next few weeks? I'm not asking you to predict, but do you think there is a good chance that the regime
I
will
hope so.
fall?
I
Right,
hope so because regime broken from inside. Nobody believe them. Nobody care them. But as you know, they have power. They have gun. They have money. But when they don't have people, is very important. I believe maybe they have scare as well because as I heard about that, a lot of them uh, know didn't follow their super leaders because they scare from people. A lot of them say change our idea because we didn't think that regime is terrible like that. A lot of people who was working for army now back to people and send message to Shah's son and say we are with you, we are your side.
yeah.
And as you know, they broken inside. But I don't know if some another country, this is human things. God's plan always is different. If God has planned to change them, suddenly happen. But I think if another country, for example, Israel or America, help people, that should be very earlier and sooner. Uh, yeah, I hope so to change everything. People has hope. Do you know when? we are powerless and government powerful. We have just our hope. We have just our life. We have just pray and ask God to help us. But I hope so change everything, because now people very direct call what they don't want what they want. They call Reza Pahlavi inside of Iran and outside of Iran. And I think if he back to Iran, everything very, very soon, very quick, everything be better and safe. And we have a lot of educated people out of Iran. They come back to Iran and help to have safety, help to have uh, everything that we need for change regime. I think after, if they gone, we have no any problem, because I think that's the question for people. If they gone, do you have any inside war? I say no, because I think this time the most of people is close together, and people's mind is back to Shahzadeh, back to the Shah's son. And I think he has good plans to change everything, safety and safe and nice. Yeah.
There's a huge Iranian diaspora, including
Yeah.
a dear friend of mine, and we'll just
For
give a shout
example,
out.
10 years ago or 20 years ago, Iranian was different parts. You can find some of them um, support Shahstan. Some of them had different uh, idea and ideology. But now, the I think the most of people is close together, and they find who can save them. And this good news, because people growing, people's mind growing, and they find we cannot be different parts. We have to be together to change.
There is unity across all different
Yeah.
stratas
Yeah.
of Iranian society. Before we end, I just want to make another note to you, which you're fully aware of because it is talked about, with the fact that the regime has imported people from other countries around them to then help put down the protests, and it's been reported of that, where they've brought people in to do that. That just, to me, just shows the levels that they will go to of depravity to then support their system. Saghar, is there, before we leave, is there anything else that, other than the fact that we need to be praying, is there anything else that you would wish to say and draw our attention to?
No, thank you. Just I wanted to say I appreciate about that. And please be our people voice, because our people doesn't have any voice. Please be their voice. Thank you so much.
No, not at all. The privilege is mine, and thank you so much for joining me. You have done absolutely brilliantly, especially as English is your second language, and I fully appreciate that, because it's rather tiring when you are trying to work out what someone is saying and then doing that response. So you've been absolutely brilliant. I'm going to play us out. Please stay with me, and I'll say goodbye to you on the other side. And just to remind everyone, please keep Iran, Persian, but the amazing Persian people, on what is going on in your prayers. And if you don't know about their history, then please go and do some research and find out, because the history is incredible. And just urge you to do that. And it's been a real joy to sit down and have this conversation. So thank you.